Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fourth Wall. I am the scumbag superstar Paul Slater alongside my podcast partner, BK, and his lovely partner, Z. And we are here live at the beautiful Premier Gateway, the grand opening of the Gateway, BK. And we are here today to do a special interview.
Absolutely excited to be here, excited to get this underway. We know when we had LG on, he did touch on it just a little bit, but the day is here. And ladies and gentlemen, we are honored, privileged, and proud to have the owner of Premier Wrestling, but the man who has been, he's been after this for, what was it, they said 2 years, 3 years now? Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Vince Aftermatch. Vince, welcome to the show.
Oh, I am so excited. I actually get a chance to get on this awesome show. And I want to say thank you all for even allowing me to be here. This is a great platform, something that's been needed for a long time. We used to have something like this back in the day, but it's nothing like it right now. And you all have really done an amazing job. And I'm so grateful that you all even allowed me to be here. So I'm pretty grateful for that. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. And you will be catching this again on Dark Star Radio. So make sure you tune in for that, even though, you know, it'll be after this, but it'll still give you some information. But let's get right down to it, Vince. Like I said before, we did speak to LG, who is in attendance today, and he touched on this. He said this has been like a 2, almost 3-year project. And I know that you were there from day one. This has got to be one hell of a journey. And here you are at the culmination of it. Please tell us what it was like getting to where we are right now.
Well, there's a lot, and just for a disclaimer, apparently I'm some sort of controversial sort of person. So yeah. I've been told to be a little careful about what I say here today. So I'm gonna try to be as careful as I can be. But I can be a little passionate about this stuff. This stuff is awesome. But there was a lot that went into it, and I'm sorry if you can hear the rain or anything. I'm kind of going through a storm right now, but I did some rigging up, and hopefully I don't lose any of you, or you don't lose me, or anything like that. So, but anyway, it was a journey, definitely a journey. Premier Wrestling, when we started this thing, we had a sort of a vision, something a little bit different than everybody else. We wanted to, and I don't want to, because I can go on for hours for this thing. So I'm gonna try to give you all the snippet of this thing. But we had a vision, and we wanted to take care of the performers. We wanted to film the shows and have a limited audience. Okay, very limited. Like at first, we didn't want to have anybody there. Well, the goal is to create a portfolio. But how do you create a portfolio of good shows without crashing and wrestlers not able to perform with all the lag and stuff like that if you don't kind of limit the audience that comes to the show. We wanted to create that portfolio to send to Linden Labs and say, hey, listen, this is what we do. Give us a chance. And when we went through the process of talking to them and getting to know them, I felt like there was a little bit of it's almost like a little bit of a dirty word, almost. Like, because, there was mud wrestling back then, no offense to Pole's Ball and all that sort of thing. But it seemed like it was just, it's like, okay, that's wrestling, but, I don't know. But we wanted to show them how professional we can be. And I think that was a key thing that they loved about what we did, is just being professional. You're not hearing that, are you? Do you hear all that coming down?
Just a little bit. You're fine,
though. As professional as we could be, and they love that. And it fast forward to going through the years, we said, all right, we finally got, did the Second Life birthday. Then we started doing we got accepted into the community, the hub. I think it was the Welcome Hub. And then we said, you know what? We're doing something right. Let's keep growing this thing. And then about a year or so later, after the application that we put in, we were talking, and they said, you all should do this, you all should do that. They're kind of giving us a little bit of a direction of where we should go. And and just being a community, and being, again, going back to that of being professional. I will think that was the biggest thing, is they saw how we did, how passionate we were about it. And I'm not just talking about Premier Wrestling too, by the way. This is Second Life Wrestling in general. I think they started to dig a little deeper into what we do. And then that's how we got in. You know, that's how they said, you know, hey, let's give them a shot. Let's see what they can do.
So when you're saying that, like when you're trying to talk to Linden Labs, it's like, is it the same mystique how wrestling, like even in real life, has like that, you know, that mystique like next to it, like where it's like, oh, wrestling, that's silly and all that nonsense. So they had like the same kind of you know, response to it.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was sort of like, you know, I don't think a lot of people don't understand what wrestling, you know, really is about. So they sort of just assume, and when they got a chance to actually see what we do, they're like, okay, yeah, we can try this thing on out.
So what was the hardest part about actually getting them to pay attention? Because like you said, and it was stated out here for those who can't see, who are not in world with us, Xander X, who has been a guest before, he said stigma, which is the appropriate word.
Yeah. So
how did you convince them to at least, you know, make an effort to look past that stigma, then for them to realize exactly what it really was that they were getting into?
That's a good question. I'm not going to sit here and say Premier Wrestling is perfect. You know, we got our issues too. Don't get me wrong. But we put systems in place. We always try to talk and mentor people as time went on. And you know, we said, hey, listen, there's something big here. There's something awesome that we can actually do. There's a vision here. And I think when we continually press that and really sort of, I guess do background checks in a way of saying, hey, that person may be a little too wild to bring in. That person may fit. You know, it goes back to that professionalism. You know, if you here, I always go back to this. If you're not being filmed right now, if you're not doing that film approach, it really takes you out of it. Right now, I think if you got the resources, every wrestling fed in SL should be filmed in some sort of capacity. I mean, you look at, I think it's KC did some really, really good stuff, filming the shows across SL. I know Zerikin did some great stuff too. You know, they look at that sort of thing. They're like, you know, this is bigger than what we thought. So when we went after them, we said, hey, listen, hey, look at us. Hey, we're right here. They did a bigger, broader, such, you know, sort of overview. They're not going to just hand you anything. We found that out.
But it's funny,
yeah.
You know, what you were saying is it also shows them how much dedication, how much time that goes into doing this. Like, you know what I mean? To preparing a show, to recording it. I mean, there's a lot of stress surrounding everything. It's not just for the people going out and doing the moves and doing a wrestling or going out and cutting promos. You have people behind the scenes who are filming, production. I mean, you have all that, and maybe that's probably not seen with anybody outside of our wrestling bubble.
No, that's absolutely right. You know, they saw the passion. They saw what we like. We're like, hey, you got to come over. You got to see this. They not only go out. It's not mud wrestling. They go out there. They got these awesome moves. They perform these awesome animations and things like that. But not only just that, they talk. They yell at each other. It's story driven. It's a lot of skill behind it. A whole training, you know, sort of thing. You know, you go through a training thing. You go through all these different levels. And when they saw all this, and we pulled everything back, and we said, hey, look at this. This is what we do. They're like, okay, all right, this is, you know. So I've heard people say that SL before was trying to do this with other places, and I'm not sure what happened, but I you know, all I can say is consistency helped us out, and just being, I go back to this as being professional. I know there was a point in time because it pains me to see this, and I don't know all the work, you know, I'm going to try to behave today, by the way. I'm going to try to be quiet. I'm going to say this. But it really pains me to see some of the stuff with Lyra, I think Lyra Phoenix, and the belts and all this and the moves and this getting copied and that getting copied and all this other stuff. That sort of thing, it really hurts us because, they don't want to associate themselves with anything like that. This is what we found. This is we knew that already, but this is a big time business. It's not they're really trying to put some effort into growing this thing. And the last thing they want to hear is, hey, this person is copying this. And by the way, for the record, I'm not taking anybody's side on that. I think over the years we've had a lot of people use a lot of things to get the job done, as far as creations and things like that. I'm not saying everybody, so hold on, don't come up here and kill me. But there's a lot of people out there who throw a lot of shade at a lot of people that probably shouldn't be throwing a lot of shade, because a lot of people are just as guilty. Maybe not on the copying shit and all that type of stuff, but attitudes, stabbing each other's back. It's just. It's ridiculous. And then, everybody just jumps on this one person who I think has done a fairly good job with their creations and things like that. But I don't know all I don't want to go into I don't know all the things with it. I don't know if they did copy this and that, whatever. But I know when I first started, a lot of places use textures. They would get a belt, and they would just get the texture and use the exact same texture of a world title. I know they didn't sell it, right? I guess I don't know, but yeah. Let me be quiet.
All right. So let's get down to this Gateway project, this venture that you're launching today. And once again, we want to thank you for letting us. Basically, we're starting this off for you, so thank you very much for letting us be the opening match, leading up to the main event. So we're very happy for that. But explain exactly what the purpose of this Gateway is, this partnership that you've gotten into with Linden Labs. What exactly is the purpose, and what's the goal of it?
So the goal of it, really, the goal is to put wrestling on the map. That's just the simplest way to really put it. We want to put SR Wrestling on the map. A lot of places have tried for several years. I think we've done a great job, but this right here really, really helps, because not only do we get the sim, we get resources. Direct contact with Linden Labs whenever there's an issue, or if we want to create we need some marketing backing or that sort of thing. We get a little bit of insight, some advice on certain things. We're let into certain things, that sort of thing. So this is like a gateway for wrestling overall. This is not just a premier wrestling sort of situation. I look at it from a very broad, for all of SR Wrestling. Now, I get it. Some people are mad as hell. There's some jealous motherfuckers out there. Good God. Holy shit. Okay. Oh my God. There is. And there's some mean people that they're not happy about it. I'm not going to name names, but there are some mean people out there.
Let me ask you something, Vince. Let me ask you something. Let's stay on that before we get off. Why do you think that? Like, why do you think there's people like?
I think there's a trust issue, and I partly think that's because of me. Going back the OEW days and things like that, I wouldn't say the OEW days. I would say more so when I ran my own place. It was VAW, Virtual Attitude Wrestling. I was a competitive son of a bitch. I was competitive. And I did some things that I'm probably not happy about. I have no regrets. But how OEW was treated before then, I was like, you know what? I'm going after everybody. When I got into SR Wrestling, I didn't get really accepted. The only place that accepted me was the OEW. They were the only ones. And everybody around us picked on OEW, called us the armpit of wrestling. poached from us, pushed us around, said you're using our ropes and all. So we got treated like shit. But when I came into SO Wrestling, I didn't have the opportunity to just come in and join anywhere. It was basically about 3 feds where I went to VWE. They just declined me. Now of course I was a little avatar running around and stuff. So a lot of people got, they're like, no, we're not going to break them. Went to DCWF. They're like, yeah. Went to OEW. And OEW gave me my shot. I could sit here and give a lot of names. I'm not going to do that right now. But they gave me my shot. They said, hey, you want to do this thing? Let's get you going. And boy, did they get me going. I got trained in a day and I got thrown as a referee or something like that. And it was, we went. But we got treated like crap. And then when things happened in the OEW, I was like, you know what? Cool. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to start my own place. Because that's really what I wanted to do. But I was gunning for the VWE. I was gunning for the DCWF. And any fed that came in our way, that's what I was gunning for them. I wanted to be the best because I wanted to treat the wrestlers the right way that I thought was the right way. Again, I'm not saying it was the right thing to do, but I wanted to be the best. And a lot of things that I did that probably I remember one of the things we did is we to really get the VWE's attention is we copied their damn banner. I said, hey, look at us over here. Look at us. We copied their banner. We put our banner just as good as it. We wanted to let them know, hey, you can do it, but we can do it better.
So it's safe to say you were like Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. I was that guy.
Okay,
and that's why.
Because I was getting ready to call you out on that, because I know there was one time when I was actually working because I worked for you when it was VAW.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing started in, and I come up to you one day. I was like, Vince, that looks exactly like the other one. And you were like,
oh yeah,
shush. You were like, shush. I know what I'm doing. All right, boss,
yeah.
So I was going to say you knew exactly what you were doing. You blew me off at that time. Now I can call you out on it because now you have to confess.
Well, they were the bullies. And I'm not. Hey, if you're VW now, I'm not saying that they were the bullies. They know they were. All those guys back they were the bullies. So we want to let them know who we were. And honestly, I thought we did a good job. But fast forward to now. I'm in a new seat, kind of, sort of, and we got Premier Wrestling, and then they're looking. There's a lot of word. There's a lot of stuff out there about me, and I get it. I've changed a little bit, but one thing is for certain is I've always been for the performers, not for the fans too, but for the performers because I was treated like shit. Right. So whenever someone says there's someone that's a day old. Don't give them an application. I look at them and I start to twitch because I was a day old. I was 2 days old, 3 days old, or whatever the case may be. But I was given an opportunity, and when we got the opportunity, I was like, you know what? I am never going to treat someone the way that I was treated.
I mean, I can attest to that, what you're saying about, because when I came here and Premier was the first place I was at, and I was a day old. And you guys and you guys let me in, and I was the commentator, and now I'm, here I am.
And you're never gonna let me forget about our first interaction, are you? Yeah, right.
And I look at you too.
Let me go back and say something. You just said previously about VWE, how they were the bullies. One of the most shocking things I probably seen in a long time, in SL Wrestling. I'm one of them people that don't get shocked by anything at all. But one of the shocking things I seen was the post that you posted, and you were sitting in the front row at the VWE on their barrier talking about stuff. You had Cody Hawley come in during last season going into Full Circle. I mean, is that something that, say, 5 years ago, a year ago even, whatever, that you actually seen possible, that you actually be kind of doing some work with VWE?
No. So when you create a reputation for yourself, and I'm talking about myself, there's people get out there, they talk a lot of shit. So of course they go out there and one person says one thing, the next person says no. But if you've never really talked to me, you don't really know who I am. So there was a perception about Premier Wrestling. It's still sort of out there. I mean, we're not playing any games. We got goals. We're going to go places as long as I have breath in this body here and there's blood going through it. we're going to go places and we're going to keep having fun. But a year ago, 2 years, no, not at all. VWE, they were, I don't know if it was a situation where they thought we were competition. Maybe perhaps they didn't. If I was VWE, I wouldn't have thought we were competition, because Premier Wrestling, we were not as well tuned 3-4 years ago. If I were them, I wouldn't even consider it as competition. But VWE, they really, shocked the hell out of me with this whole thing. I mean, we were able to work together to put something really special. Now, little secret, that whole thing, that whole story, it got a little real for a little bit. So I won't go into too much, but it got a little real, and I commend the management there. They were awesome, and perhaps we'll do some more stuff in the future.
All right, so Vince, you've touched a little bit on the past, which this is something we can sit down, because today's a day of celebration. We can sit down with you later and get into all that other stuff that you want to get into. But you got a lot of stuff coming up here today. I mean, you're sitting here with us, as I already said it, and then as you see right behind us, it says Premier Wrestling Draft is today. You're getting ready to shake things up.
Absolutely. It starts today at 1 p.m. SLT. Premier Wrestling Draft. We try to do this every year. It's sort of we took it from how the WWE uses it, and we kind of put our little spin here and there, whatever. But it's sort of a way to kind of freshen things up, and it keeps the locker room on their toes too, because some people don't know where they're going to go. But it's awesome. Because actually, you and I, it was another conversation that we were talking about earlier this morning when you called me on Discord about doing this. You actually, you kind of indicated that there may be someone or someones, you didn't give me a number, that is going to be possibly be drafted into one of them, that people have no idea who they'll be looking at the roster, and there's people who's not even on the roster right now. So you've been doing apparently you've been doing some campaigning leading up to this, if you got people who are coming in unexpectedly to get drafted. One of the things that, I first of all, if you don't know, I love Eric Bischoff. I think Eric Bischoff is great. Don't kill me. Don't jump up here and.
Eric Bischoff was great. Well, no, Bischoff was great when the NWO thing started, but then he imploded, is what it was. So that 2 years that they beat WWE, Eric Bischoff was great. I'll never deny that.
He was smart. And aside from his character, he's a very smart man. If you listen to his podcast, 83 Weeks, a shameless plug, but he was a very smart man. So I kind of go off of I like the surprise. You gotta have surprise. You gotta have storyline. You gotta have. Man, look at you. You gotta have that. So during the time, we try to during the draft period, we try to go out there and. Really, acquire some good talent, and no offense to anybody, I think Premier Wrestling has some of the best talent right now, and it's sort of history right now. I think we have some of the best talent right now than we have ever had in its history. Okay, and people say, I've been listening to the podcast and say, oh, who has the best wrestling match? People go out there and they wrestle 30, 40, 45 minutes and stuff. Absolutely ridiculous. If you don't have a storyline for that match and you're just going out there just 45 minutes, give me a break, okay? Right. That's sort of what we talked about too, BK, about what's a good wrestler. Well, that's very subjective, because I think Undertaker is the best wrestler out there. To be when he, before he retired and stuff like that. But then you got some people who say, Kenny Omega or. Who were the other ones out there, Low-Key and all these other ones, but no one follows them. No one really. I mean, it's like Hulk Hogan. He's, of course, everybody has their opinion about Hulk Hogan, and I get it, trust me. But he was one of the wrestlers, quote unquote, in history. He didn't go out there jumping around every which and way, moving as fast as you can, flipping around and stuff. I'm not saying that's not a bad idea, but I'm just saying. If you're talking about someone who's actually brought people to this thing, to wrestling, it was people like The Undertaker, The Rock, John Cena. Storytellers. That's what it's about. Now, being out there to be able to wrestle and do the best you can, that's great, and that's awesome. But if you can't tell a story, or if you're not putting a story together, you might as well pack your bags, because it just doesn't make sense.
Well, but at the same
if I want to
time,
watch that, I watch UFC.
yeah. Well, but at the same time, and I understand that what I'm saying is, I'm not going to say hypocritical, because I'm actually glad that it did happen, because we would not be able to do what we're doing right
Stone
now
cold.
if it hadn't. Right. But it's the fact that when the internet first started busting out and started getting real popular, and people started learning about the backstage stuff, and they started learning more about the wrestlers. Yeah. That's kind of when that it was like up until that point, because you had Hogan, you had The Undertaker, you had Stone Cold, all of them that, kayfabe, you kept it. And those are storylines you remember because you were invested in the character.
I agree.
Now they're more invested in the person, which is fine. But when you get so invested in person, you tend to forget what they did to get to where they're at. And right now, CM Punk, he's out there doing his thing. Cena's out there doing his thing. You've got some really great young talent, but a lot of people tend to forget that, hey, The Undertaker did it for this long. Hogan did it for this long. Paul, Nash, Austin, Rock, Sting, all these guys were out there doing it, but they were doing it when people still vested in the characters as opposed to the people. And I kind of think a little bit of that got lost once the internet blew up and they started learning all that.
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah.
So personal question here. Now, I know you're the owner, and I know that you're supposed to be unbiased. However, it is known, it doesn't matter who we are, we always have our favorites no matter what. And I know that you pretty, I know that you're over Attitude and Overload, and you pretty much, the buck stops with you and everything. Be honest right now. Who's one person that you would like to see go to Attitude, and who's one person you'd like to see go to Overload?
Oh wow, jeez! Oh my gosh!
BK always puts people on the spot.
Yeah, always. That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one. To keep things sort of fresh. I don't know. God, man. That's a tough one to sort of see a swap or so. Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I probably would love to see, and I'm assuming you're talking about the draft today.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see Karma Star go to, for my own selfish reasons, go to Overload. Okay. And I think, I don't know. I think I would like to see, you know what? LG, get the hell out of here. I like to see him go to Attitude.
Well, I mean, wait a minute. You want him to go to Attitude, and right now, Paul is on Attitude.
Yeah.
And if something happens and Paul ends up getting to stay on that, do you really want LG and Paul with their attitudes on the same show? Now, I don't even think the word attitude would be able to cover all of that.
I know, right? That's a lot of ego, right?
It really whoa. Kill your ego there, Vince. Kill your ego.
There you go. Yeah. That's what I was hoping he would say. There we go. I threw that to you.
All right. So really quick, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, now it's not being cut off right now. I'm just saying that normally how we try to fill a lot of time. There's a whole lot of things going on today. So if you do happen to have questions, make sure to let Z know. Either if you're joining us here in World, make sure to hit her up in the IM, or if you are listening to us in our Discord channel, hit her up in the DM, and we'll get that taken care of in just a few more minutes, because we do have a lot of stuff going on. But you have the draft going on today, but isn't there some other activities happening today too?
Yes, so right after this, we're going to have a little tour. So Nene and her team will kind of, they'll be stationed at different parts of the sim. So you can just go into any building and kind of just, explore and look at how things are set up. We're done, but we're not done. And if you have questions, those tour guides, they will answer some of those questions if you have any. If you don't, you just walk around. Anywhere you want to go, you just walk around. Again, we're not done. There's a lot of things that we're planning on adding. I would like to see more stuff about maybe some area where there's some support of other organizations and things like that. Right now, when I tell you it's been crazy trying to get things set up, it has absolutely been crazy. But one of the things too is we want to create, and someone, I don't know who it was, they kind of made a big deal out of it. They didn't think it was a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Okay, and here's why. People out there, they want to create a Fed. Okay, they want to create a Fed, but they don't have the money to. That's when I started a Fed. I really didn't have the money to either. Years later, okay, it's a little bit different, right? But we want to create some sort of incubator, for lack of better terms, where you can, do shows on land for free at any time. We're still working on the details and things like that, but we want to have a spot for anybody. If you want to create a Fed, you got free land, you got a free spot. Boom, that's your spot, your time, whatever the case may be. That's all on you. Of course, we're going to go through some things because there's certain things we can't do here on this land, like we can't accept donations, we can't, merch and all that. But we want to do something to grow the community. Now, I can give people $1 million out there and people are still going to bitch about it. But it's still something where, hey, you can do your own thing. Now, I know someone's going to say, so that's what it was. And it's not a shot at us or not like that. I was just wanting to bring this up. Someone said there's a lot of Feds out there.
Yeah.
So there is, and to a certain degree. I believe, really and honestly, I believe we're at a point where we are growing as a community, industry, game, whatever you want to call it. We're growing. I'm not going to sit here and say that people, if you want to wrestle 5 times in a week or 5 times in a day, that's up to you. Typically what happens is there's usually it's best example where there's like a rubber band that kind of snaps. Everything gets thinned out and it just snaps and you got Feds that start closing. I would say this is the first time in a long time that we really haven't had a bunch of Feds close. I think why there seems like there's a lot of Feds is you have a lot of furry Feds, which they're doing a fantastic job. Okay.
Oh yeah.
In a short amount of time, they're doing a fantastic job. And they have went and breached, for lack of better terms, into a sort of another sort of community. So when you really look at it, it's a growing process. To me, I believe we can still keep growing, and I think we can grow as much. There's 40,000 people that log into SL, unless I'm getting my numbers wrong. But there's 40,000 people that log into SL daily. Thousands of people that log in daily. We can keep growing this thing. And not only just that, I'm going to stop talking because I know you all this is your show, and I can do a whole lot of talking. But
me and BK, we talk too much.
Yeah, right.
I just want to say this is there's millions and billions and billions of people outside of SL. So what's stopping the likes of KC, Zerica, and I think VW Still Films and Premier Wrestling to reach thousands and millions and billions of people out there on YouTube and all these other streaming platforms and bringing them into SL? Come on now, someone talk to me. I get it that it's a lot of Feds, but we can get people into this thing because there's a lot of wrestling fans out there, a lot of it.
Right.
Now,
right, I totally agree with it.
One of the questions I have for you is something that LG, when he was on our show, brought up. So he said that you're going to be open to all Feds as far as other Feds, which is kind of unprecedented in a way, could come here and do shows no matter what Fed it is. Like they have an open gateway to actually come here and do some of their shows.
Yes.
How is that? Yeah, is that okay?
So absolutely. So any Fed out there, and it can be a current Fed, it can be a newer Fed, whatever, will have a spot. It's actually across the way. It's a little small little area. It's you set it up how you want to, and again we're going to get with you. We're going to, hey, this is what these are sort of the requirements as far as or rules more so, not necessarily requirements, but rules. Hey, you can't, about the donating thing. Unfortunately, you can't do that. But there are going to be some things that we can't do that we have to relate to you. But we want you to be able to not have, the thought, oh my God, I got to pay for land, because that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
But I want to let you know this too, and this is just a shameless plug for myself, a little ego here. If you want to run a federation, if you want to run a wrestling fed, you can. Okay, don't let anybody say that there's you don't have land. I took VAW on the road its first year. I took VAW on the road its first year. We traveled all around, but we didn't have land. The lady who was supposed to give us land, I remember it because it was around Christmas, took our land away and was like, or didn't take our land away. She said, no, I changed my mind. So we have to travel from sim to sim to sim to sim to sim. So if you really want to put your mind to it, go out there and make it happen, because people out there, they love that entertainment. They love it. They love wrestling. Okay. And not only just that, just because you don't get that many people to come to the show, don't quit. I don't care if you get 3 people. Try to strive to get 10 next week. I don't care if you get 10 people. Try to get 15 the following week. But don't give up.
Yeah, it's like, it's a tough thing. It's tough. It's tough week in and week out. It's trying to separate, or trying to find time between your real life and SL. As far as a lot of work goes into doing these shows every week, no matter how big the fed is. It could be Premier Wrestling, it could be whatever, a smaller fed. There's a lot of work that goes into doing this.
So that's true too, and if it's a real life sort of thing, I get that. I've had my issues too, but I think now, as far as Premiere, it's a little bit more sophisticated. Where if I wasn't here or something, God forbid. One thing I always loved about VWE is they always had someone ready to take the spot if someone was not able to take the reins, and that's why they have such a rich history. They've done a good job. Even right now, DCWF, they're hanging on. So, but. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, DCWF is kind of in the middle of an overhaul too.
Yeah. And if you can give it and say, hey, hey, take it away and do the best you can, go for it. Unfortunately, I've had situations like that, but don't, if you can, keep that thing going. Don't listen. Premier Wrestling is not. We're not. Immune to issues. Okay, we have our issues too. There are times where we're just in a down period. It happens to everybody. It happens to the WWE. It happens to you're going to go through that down period. Don't give up. You get your ass up and you say, hey, we got to get more creative. We got to get better characters. We got to get better storylines and things like that to try to get people to come.
Well, yeah, and you've heard me ask that before. What are you going to do to stand out? Because we do have so many feds, which is something that Eric Stewart did mention, because he broke it down, and there's 56 hours a week of wrestling available. And as a joke, Premier, out of the 56 hours, I think Premier has 35 of them.
Well, perhaps there'll be more. But the thing is I completely understand the sort of concern for that. Premier Wrestling, I don't like to make it seem like we're kind of stepping away from the community. I don't want to say stuff like that, because it's not true. That's lack of better terms. I'm not, I cuss a lot, so I'm not the most intelligent person in the world. But we're doing something, or trying to do something, that's never really been done. Premier Wrestling is focusing not just on people in SL, but we want to get people on the outside of SL, which is why we film so much, to try to get people in. Try to get people in to be able to grow this thing. It's not easy doing this how we do it. And then you got AVW, you got Rise. We're trying to create sort of an indie circuit sort of situation there. But even them, they're doing their things. They have their own teams, their own sort of, they're doing their thing. So and it helps out with the overall system or organization, however you want to call it, what we're trying to do.
Now, do you feel like the stigma, I used the correct word this time, the stigma out there with people in SL Wrestling about Premier Wrestling is that their shows, you have, like you said, you have Attitude, Overload, AVW, Rise. Do you feel the stigma out there is look at Premier, they're trying to take over?
Well, don't let us take over. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Let me stop. Oh boy. Oh God. No. Listen, competition is good. Competition is not bad. It drives everybody to get better. I want to have the best promo of the night. Hell, I want to be the best podcaster you two have ever seen in your life, and all three of you. Excuse me. But the thing is competition. It helps everybody. We're not trying to take over. There's no way we could. Okay, there's just if there's, as long as there's feds up and there's a HUD out there, there's no way for us to do that. I think it's just, if anything, we're pushing everybody to get even better and better and better. And let me tell you, there's some people. I know a lot of people like to kind of be negative about SR Wrestling, but SR Wrestling right now is the best it's ever been, and a lot of it's because we have great creators. I got to give a shout out to these creators out there. Morgan Jones. I can't name them all, but there's a lot of good. Mike, I think he's doing some stuff too. There's a lot of great. Yeah. Oliver. There's a lot, and I can't get to them all. But they have done some awesome things. People who make gear, all these different things. We have advanced so much over the years. Even the HUD, I got to give a shout out to LG, and he's done some really good stuff with the Prime HUD. Everybody was giving him such a hard time because I guess he was aligned with me, but now everybody's like, oh, we like this thing. This is a little bit different, to the point they were trying to take the script.
Actually, what a lot of people forget, and I mentioned this when LG was on the show, is he actually come up with the Prime HUD after he left Premiere and opened up SWE. So actually, SWE was the first Fed that got the beta. But then when he came back to Premiere, you were the first Fed that actually implemented that as an option from the next gen.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought you can get a chair? And trust me, Ace knows this shit, and some of these other guys. I'm not in there, but you can get a chair and throw it across, and they catch it. They catch it. Or who would have thought you can drop a mic in them like that? That shit is hard,
It is.
But it's done.
Because everybody remembers back
Vigilante too.
Back in the old day, remember, that you'd have a mic in your hand or have a chair in your hand, and if you were supposed to get hit, you're supposed to lay down. You had to de-res it. You had to unattach it. You had to re-res it into the ring. Then you had to drop the chair.
Yeah, but that's all. And Vigilante Thunder, he's Danny Thunder, really, but he's training these people coming in and all these different things. It's really awesome to see how far we have come, and it's absolutely amazing. So when we're going and we're trying to get these shows put out there, and listen, we're not where we want to be. We have some inconsistencies with our filming and what we're trying to address. We're trying to come up with better ways of getting our shows a little bit better produced, with better consistency, more so. But we've made tremendous amount of progress over the years, right? But we want to really hone in on that, because the real competition out there is not just in SR Wrestling, really. That's not really been our focus, is those video games.
Yep.
There are thousands of people, thousands of wrestling feds and things, and they look amazing, and they do a good job, but they don't understand that we have an edge over them, because they're kind of, they're kind of in a they're, where you can constrict it to what they have. So in here, we can do all types of things. So why not be able to introduce that to the? And by the way, filming was never really a new thing. By the way, I know I keep going back to some of the people. VWE was really a big pioneer in that, and then the DCWF, way back then, they did some stuff as well. But somewhere along the lines, we kind of dropped off a little bit. But yeah. So anyway, there you go.
All right. So really, really quickly here, we're going to get some questions after this. Let's pay some bills. Our sponsors for today's show: Dark Star Radio at darkstarradio.com, Aaron's Domain, LPW, and today, normally we say that it is AVW, but since today is Gateway for Premier, actually today's big sponsor is Premier Wrestling. So we want to thank you all for that. So we have some questions that have been asked and they have been sent to Z. Now, I'm not going to lie, we might not be able to get to all of these because of
Ooh,
the
that's that many?
yeah, well, we
God.
might not be able to get to all of them because you do have other things that are set up and we're trying to make sure that you have time to get to it. So if we don't get to your questions, don't worry. Vince will get them and he may be able to address them later on. So, Z, what do you got for us?
Okay, we actually do have quite a few questions that have come in, and I've been putting them in order here. Got a couple that are more serious, a couple of lighthearted. I'm really looking forward to the answers to these. This first one comes from Mike, and we are actually requesting a real and clear answer, none of the runaround politicians, basically. With this being for SL Wrestling as a whole, what assurances do you make to make sure every Fed is represented or given awareness so this isn't just a feeder for Premier? One fear can be that with new people coming in through the gateway, they'll just be told to go to Premier rather than directed to explore everywhere and see where they fit in best, what they prefer. What will you do to alleviate these worries and truly make this for SL Wrestling as a whole?
Ooh.
Very good question. So I'm going to be as non-political because the storm has passed, and I feel pretty good a little. Well, it's still here a little bit, but very good question. First of all, we're not obligated to do anything. That's the real true answer to it. But because I have care in my heart for SR Wrestling, we will do things such as what we talked about, the little the Fed little thing that we're trying to incubate or whatever you want to call it, to ensure we can grow the community. And we're also going to try, I've thought about maybe making some sort of committee or some sort to figure out what we could do so every Fed is sort of represented. But, we worked really hard to get to this point as well. There's a lot of things that we did on our end. So I want to make sure it's clear that we're not obligated to do anything. And I know that's sort of a short answer, but you said you don't want the non-political, just straightforward. So I'm giving you the straightforward answer. But the other answer is we do plan on doing stuff as well. It's just we're trying to get our stuff set up first, and then we're going to start adding more things around on this sim to really start, getting out there to everybody.
Any more, Z?
Very fair answer. Okay, and Miss Emma Gray has a question for you, and we're going to shift over to your draft coming up. Who would you draft from any of the other Feds in the community if you could? If you had an open option, who would you draft from the other Feds?
Oh, God, that's such a hard answer. God almighty. Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
You stumped them.
Oh, yeah, you did, because I don't want to piss anybody off either. That's a loaded one. That's a loaded one. Oh, man. Oh, God, that's a hard one. Because there's so, in all honesty, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, or not mean, but shy away from that question. We have, in SO Wrestling, we have grown so much. There's so many great talented people. I mean, the matches are absolutely amazing. People going out there, they know, it's incredible. With that being said, oh, God, jeez. I don't know. There's so many. Oh, okay. Let me think. Oh, man. What? Can I say that? God, I can't even answer it. That's the first one. Because I'm like,
it's speechless. Yes,
I am for the first time. First time. Oh, because there's some really. I like Hammer.
Yeah,
I think Hammer. I think he's. I think he's. I think he's really. But on the flip side of it, there's just so we got Viola, and you got. There's so many good ones. So I would probably say those. I mean, I could keep going though. I could. Oh my gosh, I could keep going. With the amount of talent that's out there, I could really. I like Benja too. I think he's a good one too. So, yeah. We want to hear it. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Give him
I
an
just think
easy
it's very
one.
funny.
Give him an easy
Well,
one.
no,
Z.
I think it's hilarious because I mean everybody knows Emma is very loved and she's very adored in this community by several of us, and she's really a good friend of mine, Aziz and Paul. And what's really funny is Emma doesn't voice, and the one that doesn't voice renders the one that talks a lot speechless. That's got to be
I know.
that is
Emma's
irony at its epic.
I remember Emma when she first came in as well, and she's doing some big stuff, good stuff out there. So keep it up.
All right, Z, give him an easier one. We don't want to brain fry him or anything.
Yeah, he's got a long day.
Okay. Our very own baby Chrissy has a question for Mr. Vince.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
Are you ever going to offer merch for littles? Since baby Chrissy and her baby friends do come to Premiere and Rise.
Oh
yeah, I agree. Now that's a good question. Also, we're trying to. For right now, we got things all over the place right now. Because with this sim, we can't really sell. There can't really be any transactions, but we can always promote other places having transactions. So we're trying to get a merch shop actually up at a location where we think it's good enough traffic and things, so we can also hit other, people who've never really seen wrestling. I really would probably in the London City area over there. There's they have a lot of people who actually go over there. So we're looking at one of their little shops. But to answer your question, yes, we are looking at that. Different sort of items, because right now I feel like we need to. We have gotten to. We've done some really good stuff with the littles and with families and things like that, with the role playing sims and things, and I think we really need to. And with this gateway, we're allowed to really be able to give a lot of stuff out for free too. That's what we want to try to give out also, because the burden of having to pay for a sim, it's so much, and then we try to pay the talent as well. Don't get me started on that. Because I think talent performers should get paid, get something for all the stuff that they do, just like a creator should. The damn commentator freaking talks for 2 hours sometimes, so I think they should get something. They don't have to accept it; they can donate it. But don't let me get started. That's a whole debate in its own. Let's go to another question.
Okay, hold on. Z, not to interrupt you, but really quick, you've said a couple of times that you're not allowed to take donations. You can't sell merch on the sim.
Yeah.
So you're still charging for tickets.
Yes.
How does that work?
So, and that's a very good question. We actually have a ticket center. So that kind of segues into, if you go over there to the arena over there, you're going to get, if you hit the thing, you'll TP to another area, and then you'll buy your ticket, and then you'll come on back over. We hope people get it a day ahead, or a few hours ahead, however you decide to do it. And we're going to also try to do it on Marketplace too. Not the way we want to do it, but it's the way that SL has allowed us to do it. Again, we want to take care of the performers as well. They do a lot, and that's the only way we can sort of make sure we have the income to do that. So,
all right, we got time for just a couple more questions, because I know you got something coming up here really, really soon involved with this gateway, and we do not want to hold anybody else up. So, what else do we have for him, Z?
Okay, I actually am going to sneak in one more, and
Okay.
I hope she'll forgive me for it, because I actually have been asked to not mention it, that she asked, because there was concern of there not being time for all of the questions to get in. Since we do have time, I figure end on a more lighthearted kind of note. And it's a two-pronged question for you, Vince, and this comes from our very own Sabrina. Will Vince ever get married again? And what did Sabrina have you sign?
Oh boy, here we go. All right, let's end the show. I'm just kidding. I'll never get married again. I will never, and I don't even know why she's in here. Someone just remove her or something like that. Get her out of here. Get her out of here. I can't believe she's even here now. She's good. But the thing is, no, not to her. Oh God, that was good. I like it. And you know
That's
something?
funny.
I don't mind if you all. I don't mind staying an extra 10 minutes to get to some of these questions if need be.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want you all to think I'm trying to run away from questions. I love questions.
No, we're just trying to make sure you have time for everything that you get due today.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
we're
10 more
trying
minutes.
I
appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay.
10 more minutes. Let's do it.
All right, well, go ahead. Come on. Are you ever going to get married again?
No.
Now, is it you'll never get married again, or you just won't get married to Sabrina again?
Oh God, I can't trust anybody right now.
Well, you have to. I mean, because in all honesty, Z was partnered with somebody before she and I, before she saw the light, and might have been with her eyes closed or whatever.
Listen to this guy.
Yeah, it could have been with their eyes closed. It could have been with their eyes closed.
So she met the Messiah, BK.
Hilarious.
She swore up and down that she would never get partnered again, and next month we're going on 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 100 years, whatever it is.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
10
that's
years
awesome!
partnered. So that's why we have to ask.
Next month is 10 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Okay, well, he said he got time for a few more questions. What?
Just two more.
Now, I know you snuck that one in. Is there a more difficult one out there?
That was actually the last one that I've gotten.
Oh, okay.
But I figured that was a great way to finish, was with the more lighthearted.
Yeah.
But I will point something out here, Vince. You only answered one side of that question.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, she did. Okay. All right.
What part didn't get answered?
I'm sorry, because the part that had me really, really curious when she jumped into my DMs to ask is, what did Sabrina have you sign?
Oh.
Oh boy.
Was it a prenup?
Well. I will put you. That probably the only one that I probably and will be embarrassed to even answer here today. But I will tell you this: Trey is not happy with me. We had a good thing going, good system going with all these, with our places that we have with AVW and Rise, and the future is going to be a little interesting. And that's all I can really say. I think we just need to focus on the draft. I think that should be the only thing we focus on.
Politician answer.
Right? He is talking like Gavin Newsom right now.
Oh, God! That's hilarious.
That's
pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, no, it's going to be an interesting. I'm still talking to lawyers to see how we can figure this thing out. So,
now earlier we were having the conversation when LG was picking at you, when he said, "Hey, when is Vince going to grow his hair back?" And I said, as soon as LG becomes likable. Well, considering the fact that it's Sabrina and you're trying to figure out how not to be around, and it looks like, you're hoping and just hanging on, you might never get your hair back, because being the fact that she's probably going to divorce you and take you for everything, it's probably a good thing you can detach your hair, because you don't have anything to pull out.
Well, it fell. Oh God! I can't even. Oh, she's a piece of work now. She's definitely a piece of work. I steer clear of her. I don't even know why she's even here. Someone just tell her to leave. God. See, that wasn't even I wasn't not on a good note. That was not even a good note one right there. Gosh.
Here's a good note, Vince, and I know we talked about it during the show, but what's the future? What do you think the future of Premier Wrestling, the future of SL Wrestling is with this gateway?
I think it's very bright. It could be very special. Like I said, there is a lot of mistrust, and I get it. There's some things that I probably shouldn't have done or said back in the day. A lot of it was because of frustration. When I first came into SO wrestling, it was just a lot of, and there's a lot of that now. There's a lot of, politics and stuff like that sort of go on that people don't really want to talk about. But to just talk about the benefits, it's a big benefit because Linden Labs has given us a chance to be able to put our the performances out there to a larger sort of marketing audience, and the benefits are just great, man. And then we're going to try to do things here at the Sim that will really push the overall community as well.
Yeah, like LG was saying, this is going to have like boxing events here, MMA events, things like that.
Yeah, we want to do that too, and that's the other thing too. It's not just, when you think about it, SO wrestling, yes, but some people consider us sort of sports or sports entertainment. So it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited. We just have to. My only message for the overall SO wrestling is we just have to be careful what battles we decide to fight, and continue to try to, because it's hard. It's hard as hell for me too. So sometimes I just ignore it. I've gotten better with that over the 10 plus years. But we have to try to remain professional out there, especially on that social media and things like that. It's a difference when you're in character opposed to being out of character. So that's what I would say. It's just, try your best. And anybody who tries to make it seem like the drama is worse than what it is used to be back then, you're out of your mind. You're just totally out of your mind. The drama is not even close to how it was. There's a little Fed chat that, the feds that come together, talk about things, or, try to help out with one another. We've had charity events like crazy, all types of charity events where we're all coming together to help one another and things like that. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than how it used to be. Right. So, yeah.
There you go, BK.
All right. Well, apparently we have one last question that got snuck in at the last minute, and this will be the last question of the day, and then it's going to be time for Vince to move on to his next event. And we will let everybody know that when you're listening to this on Dark Star Radio, yes, we know that we're recording this live, and you're going to be hearing it later. But this is not just a one-time thing. This is going to be 24/7. You can pop over here to the Sim. You can get all the information you need, and make sure that you use this gateway for what it's for, and to bring in new people, to bring awareness for SO wrestling. The fact that we are in here, we want to have fun. So, Z, you had one last question. Fire.
Yes, we do. We have one last question that got snuck in since Vince was kind enough to offer a few extra moments. Our very own KC would like to know, why is Premier the only SL Fed that charges for admission?
Oh, it's a very good question. I don't know why all places don't do it. I really don't. When we started Premier Wrestling, we really didn't want to have any fans really there. We wanted to sort of keep it to a point where, the lag that comes down, that sort of thing. But now, after getting yelled at, say, no, I want to bring my husband or my wife and this and that, we say, all right, we'll charge a little something so we can, if you're going to lag the show and not tip, it's like going to a bar and they give you a nice, beautiful tequila drink. Where you at, Fire? Come on. They give you a nice, beautiful tequila drink, and you don't even tip. We got people that come to the show, don't even give a donation of any kind, but you're yet lagging the shit out of them with your AOs and all these different things that you got on. So I personally think that charging a ticket helps. It reduces the fans that come to the show sometimes, and also it helps with security. Also, it helps with paying the performers. They deserve it. They deserve every single bit of it. And among other things that we're able to try to build upon with it. But hey, everybody doesn't have to come to the show. We love when people come watch you on YouTube. We just do things differently. when we came into this thing, we said we're going to do things differently. People asked for different. We said we're going to do things different, and that was one of the business decisions we said we're going to do different. And if people don't like it, you don't have to come. You don't have to buy a ticket.
No, I mean,
Now,
that's
I
pretty
have a
fair.
question
Well, we got a Linden
that
on the
kind of
land too.
branches
But go
that
ahead.
kind of branches off from that,
Ooh, Philip Linden.
with you saying that yes, the fans lag the surroundings, and that can be a huge, huge issue. Do you think it's a negative to lose that fan interaction?
So, as far as I'm sorry, I kind of got a little distracted. I've got a lot of IMs for what said that Philip was on the land, and I didn't even know. But can you say that one more time for me?
Do you think that limiting the number of fans that are there is also a negative because it's limiting the fan interaction?
Oh, okay. So
I know that a lot of times your talent can feed off the interaction with the fans, and it gives them
yes,
someplace to go. Are you
right.
losing that by limiting how many people are able to be at the shows?
Well, I don't think so. Full circle, we had 110 people on the sim, and for most of those tickets were bought. I don't think so. I think we have a really good audience that they understand the message of, hey, we're here to support, and it does. Listen, I get it. It's not something that a lot of people are used to, but football does it. The boxing, they do it as well. So and they do really, really good with it. It's definitely a debate, and I get it. I absolutely understand it, but it's better than not letting anybody in the show at all. So, yeah, but I agree with you. Sometimes it can. Sometimes, I know when we first started, people said it would never work. It would never work, and we proved them wrong.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fair enough, and I mean, it's very good logic, but sometimes you can see why people would say, like you said, you
absolutely.
alienate. But at the same time, that kind of creates a little bit of competition, because if you got somebody saying, "Hey, that show was great," then the person that wanted to see it will try to be first in line to get the tickets. So I can see, putting a little bit of the friendly competition to who's going to show up, because you can spend money, you're going to show up. That's just the way that it is.
Well, and that too, and you got people that spends 5,000 Linden on a head in SL. So if for what 200 at Linden, or 250 Linden, or even in this case 100 Linden ticket, it's just we're not looking to necessarily have 110 people on the sim either, by the way, just so we're clear. But it's the same thing. How we were going for another sort of direction. We were trying to get people to come to Second Life by filming a well-produced show without having any lag. So at one point, we didn't have anybody in the crowd necessarily. So how do you do that? I mean, you got people out there, these feds and stuff, that are on the second, what is it, WB 2K, whatever it is now.
Right.
Their fans are completely non-existent. The people that are the fans are the people watching, and they usually get about 1,000, 2,000 viewers on their YouTube page sometimes.
Right. Okay, well, that's there was a question that got shouted, that got put there in local, that said, if Philip Linden doesn't have a ticket, or didn't buy a ticket to the draft show, can he be given one?
Absolutely. He can definitely be given one.
That is the correct answer. That is the correct.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. He was one of the people that helped us get here, so it's the right thing. And I encourage you all to go over there and talk to that man right there. Is changing this thing up. He understands the user experience. It's like trying to drive a freaking spaceship when you get to SL, and he's trying his best to get things.
And I actually reached out to him when we started this podcast, asking if he'd be on it, and he showed a little bit of interest, and I haven't heard anything from him. So we're trying to get him on here to talk about the new stuff coming out in SL that we've all had to experience. But today is about you. It's about the Gateway. It's about Premier Wrestling. It is about Second Life, and we appreciate everything that's being done. I think this would be a very good thing, as long as it's maintained and promoted the right way, and it's not as Mike said, not looking at just Premier.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And we're going to do some things. We're going to do one of the things I wanted to do along with Danny Thunder, also known as Vigilante Thunder, is we want to do classes. We want to do joint classes. We're going to open it up to the absolute everybody. I think one of the community, we call it sort of a community coach, but we want to have it to where everybody can come into the gym, and we do like a monthly class for everybody. We're going to promote it. Everybody's going to be to come. It's going to be like character development class. We'll just do something every month where it's opened up for everybody, so we can all get better. Maybe how to create a move or whatever the case may be. But yes, we do plan on trying to do something like that as well.
All right. Well, we have got to be getting out of here.
Yeah, I do.
You're great enough to get a few more minutes. But once again, like I said, for those who are going to be listening to this on Dark Star Radio, this is already going to be past. But the draft starts at what time today?
It starts at 1 p.m. SLT,
Okay.
and we got a whole lot of action going on. I'm super excited. I really am. So hope you all can come, show some support. It's SO Wrestling.
Now,
And I love this.
Is the draft going to be done inside the building, or is it going to be done out here like we are right now?
It's going to be done in the building across the way, the arena in there, so you can go in there and, like again at 2 p.m. I would get there a little early because it may get a little busy, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it is going to be open for everybody to come and check it out, right?
Yes, as of right now, everybody is able to go around and check things out, and absolutely, like I said, we want all the support, and we hope everybody will enjoy the show. There's 6 incredible matches. A couple people are going to be making appearances as well, so it should be a lot of fun.
All right, Paul, you got anything else?
No, just come check out the show, 1 p.m. SLT, Premier Draft.
Absolutely, and make sure to check us out on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you are not, make sure to hit us up on the Discord, in our Discord channel, and that's where you can actually suggest for people to be on the show, and we will get to them as soon as possible. We have a long list. But we do want to thank everybody. Thank you all for starting off this gateway in a big bang. I want to thank everybody that joined us in our Discord and here live in World. We will see you all very, very soon. You all take care of yourselves.
Thanks again, Vince.